other than an FE80. But if you saw an FE9, that would be a link local address. If you saw an FEBA, that would be a link local address, because it's a range of FE80 through FEBF. Okay, so it's only routable on its own network, so that means it can't get outside of its own network. What else? Umberto, tell me something about a link local address. There's not enough reviewing going on. Jocelyn, Wyatt.
It's the address that the device assigns itself before it gets its DHCP address?
Well, yes and no. So it will assign itself a link local address regardless of whether it gets a DHCP address. So every single IPv6 interface or device will assign itself a link local address. What else? What can I use the link local address for on a LAN? Not exactly. Private addressing is not so much a term that we associate with IPv6. We associate the words private and public addressing with IPv4, but that's not to say that IPv6 doesn't have some addresses that function like a private address. What are those called? Other than link local. So a link local address will function similar to a private address in that it never leaves its own network, right? But there's another type of address in the IPv6 world that would function similar to a private address. What kind of IPv6 address is that? Okay, so, what? Well, that's a globally routable address. All right, so here is your homework for Wednesday. Everyone needs to come back on Wednesday and be able to tell me the different unicast addresses in IPv6. There's 6 of them. We've talked about the link local, okay? We also threw out there just now the global routing prefix, the globally unique address. But there's 6 unicast addresses. You need to know what they are and when would I use them. What are the address ranges? Okay. So who has access to their 140 material? Okay. If you do not know how to get access to your 140 material, this is how you can do it. Let's see. You can go into courses. Let's see. Wait, let me look and see. Oh, okay. Go into Net Academy under resources, because the new Net Academy, it kicks you out of the material after just a couple weeks. So you can go into resources and then go to alumni courses.
Question about that.
Yes.
So my, what is it? My CNT140 is in there.
Yes.
Alumni, but my BPC, is it 270, 170?
Did you finish 270?
Which is the first one you take?
170.
170. I haven't taken 270 yet.
Okay, so the NetAcad looks at that as one class.
Okay.
So until you finish 270, you won't see it in Net Academy. Yeah, you won't see it in Net Academy. Okay, so any class that you have finished, it will let you enroll. So you're not going to see as many as I have, but you should see a few, if, or at least one if you finished 140. Okay, so that is how you can get your 140 information. And the IPv6 module in 140 was module 12. Okay. So please review that for Wednesday. Okay, so back to the link local address. So we said it's used, it's on its own network, it's self-generated. Can I manually assign a link local address? Yes, I can. Yes, you can. Every device will assign one itself, but I could also opt to manually assign it. No big deal, we'll do that. And again, the link local address can be used as a specific type of address on a LAN. What would that be? So I have a router. Say that again?
Because I was reading that
Yes.
when you're using stateful, you get your default gateway from the RA that has
You do. So,
multicast.
okay, so let me say this. You are right. The link local address can be used as the default gateway, but it has absolutely nothing to do with Slack. They're unrelated.
No, it's stateful.
It has nothing to do with stateful. It has nothing to do with an RA. So right here is our what? Our default gateway. Now let's say I go and assign the default gateway an address. Okay, so there's an address, ::1, so it's the first usable address, right? We still do that. Now, it may also have, well, not may, it will have an FE80 address, okay? Now, when I go here and I assign these IPv6 addresses, I could use this as the default gateway address, or the devices can function using the FE80 address. So it's just some of the flexibility and some of the different options that IPv6 gives us, okay? We cannot do that with IPv4. As an example, what are the addresses that IPv4 self-generate for themselves? What are those called? Yeah, they're called APIPA addresses. And actually, in a APIPA address, they also call that a link local address. But could I use an APIPA address as a default gateway? Yeah, I can't. I can't. So again, it's a default, a link local is a little bit different in its functionality than like an IPv4 APIPA address, okay? All right, so let's take a look at this assignment. Everyone needs to be in the VM because we're going to do a couple packet tracers. I hate red. Let's see. Oh, I don't have it published. Some of you might already have picked it up, but So we're in week 12. We only have 3 weeks left. 3 weeks left. It's the class activity, review IPv6 link local addresses. Okay.
Sorry that one packet tracer was submitted as a guest.
Oh, yeah.
You wrote that little note in there. Usually it gives me the little
Box.
box where you put your name and email and stuff, and I usually fill that out, but I don't think it
Well,
came up.
and you know, when that happens too, if you click on the little person, it'll bring it up. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Is on this one? Oh,
Did you refresh your screen? Oh, it's not in homework, it's in class activities, which is towards the top, week 12 towards the, right there, right there. Yeah, let me show everybody that little trick. So if your name is not associated with the packet tracer, you can actually click on this little person, and then it will give you the option to fill that out so that you put your own name in there. Okay, so Umberto, do you have it up? Adiel, I see yours. Chase, Jocelyn, you got it now?
Yes.
Perfect. Wyatt? Okay. So first, let's just look at this topology. Like, let's just look at it. I want everyone to just get in the habit of, you know, just taking a minute and looking at things, right, before you even begin. So I can see up here, how many networks do we have? Yep, we have 3. Okay, so I can see this 2001, a bad CAD 1. So the first 48 bits, what is this called for the IPv6? What part of the IPv6 address is that? Yeah, the global, the network. That's the network piece, the global routing prefix. That's considered the network. Now, the 4th hextet, what's that? That's our subnet ID, right? And then the last 64 bits, that would be the host portion, exactly right. And so over here we can see our network, right? And this network. So we can see the network. And let's see, what else do I notice? Let's just go in here on R1 and let's look at the addressing. So how could I look at the addressing for R1? Adiel.